right, Keon Brown here in New York. This is NCCU Live. So grateful to have you here. Hopefully, you can hear me. We are here, we are here, and we are here. We've got a lot of people on today, and I'm excited about it. Let me bring in my co-host Bass to set us up for the night. What's up, Bass?
Hey, what's going on? How everybody doing out there today?
I
Yeah, what's
can't hear
going
you.
on? You can't hear me?
I cannot hear you.
You can't hear me. Well, I can hear you. Uh-oh.
Me?
I
Can
can
y'all
hear
hear
you.
me?
Can you hear me?
It might be you. I can't hear you, Bass. I just could hear Bass.
Can you hear me
So
now?
Bass, try to get out of there and come back in, and we'll
Can
get
you
set
hear me
up.
now?
Got a couple other people happening here. It might be me, but Bass, we'll get you right back in. All right. What's up, people? Let me pull up these comments. Make sure that you say who you are and that you're in the building. I want to get these comments. Hey, Ebony Chester is on. All right. So we've got lots of things happening today. We've got 3 alumni that we're highlighting from class of 1980. We got class of 2015, and class of 05 actually, and then we got class of 18 as well. So we've got a wide-ranging group today. We're excited to have NCCU, in the house. What's up, people? All right, let's see if we can get Bass back on. He always sets us up. All right. Special K said that they can hear both of us, Bass. I just couldn't hear Bass. And I got to hear you so I can have a conversation with you, brother. All right, let's see if we can get you back in here. Bass, oh, I know I can hear you now. What's up, Bass?
You can hear me now? We good?
I can hear you now. What's up, Bass? How you doing,
I,
bro?
I'm hanging good. Everything's good in Philadelphia.
Happy Wednesday.
Philly. Happy Wednesday. So let's go ahead and let's get it set up for today. Like I said, we got Ernie Suggs coming in. He's been doing a lot of things for North Carolina Central for so many years. This is
Yes.
definitely going to be a great highlight just to bring him in and just have some good conversation with him and see what's going on with NCCU. We got Unica Harmon. She's class of 05. She's going to be joining us throughout the show as well. And of course, we said we was going to bring you Michael Hopkins. We got him this time. Last time we missed out. We definitely got him on the show. He's going to be ending our show for this week. Keon, before you jump, because I know you're about to jump to it real quick, I just want to sit there and say all my class representatives for the Eagles Alumni Network this Sunday, 5 o'clock, Zoom. Sent out an email. If you didn't get it, please reach out to me on my Facebook page. I'm going to be sending out invite through your phone. So just please be on the lookout. If you want to be a class representative, reach out to Bass. I'm your man. Keon, you got it. I'm going to leave you. I'm looking forward to this great. This is going to be a good one, this one.
Thank you, Bass. Come on, guys. We want to see you there on Sunday. Get ready. We need your support, man. We can grow so exponentially if we have representatives from every class. Come on. So holla at Bass if you're interested. All right. See you on Sunday. All right, Bass. Thank you.
Peace.
All right, Bass is out of here. Look, so we're going to first start out with class of 1980, a powerful alumni who actually has just been doing a lot of great work. I know him and I've seen him through his Facebook group. You went to NCCU if. So he is the source of so much inspiration, information, and we're grateful to have him. Let's bring him in. Let's see, alumnus Ernie Suggs. How are you, sir?
How's everybody doing?
So grateful. Good that you're here.
First of all, you're aging me. I'm in class of 1990.
Why did I say 80? My apologies. You know what? I saw 80s because you pledged Alpha in 89. So I saw that. I saw that, and I don't know why I said 80. He is class of 90. 90. 90. Been a journalist, class of 90, mass comm in Atlanta. How has journalism been? How has it changed since you graduated from NCCU?
It's changed 180 degrees. I mean, I started out, learning how to, cut and paste and, literally cut and paste copy onto a page and writing in a notebook and doing all those kind of things. But things have really changed. I have been at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution for 23 years now. And when I started, we had more than 500 people in our editorial section. My dream, my goal when I started was to work in Atlanta for a while, then move back to North Carolina and be the head of the North Carolina Bureau of the paper. That was the goal that I had. But, as you know, the internet and things have changed, and we've changed the way we do news. Now we have about 150. So we had 500 people down to about 150 people. So my dreams of going to North Carolina have pretty much vanished because we don't have bureaus anymore. We have a Washington, D.C. bureau, but we had a New York bureau, we had a Florida bureau, a North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, all over the South, all over the Caribbean, all over Europe. But now we basically just have the Washington, D.C. bureau and the Atlanta Reporter. So we've cut back a lot. So things have really changed. I'm working from home. I've been working from home since March. And, now with technology the way it is, we're able to write our stories. We're able to publish our own stories. So working from home now is a gift because, we're able to kind of do everything that we're able to do in a newsroom. I can just do it from my living room now.
So top story, of course, as of yesterday and today, Kamala Harris is now the vice president's nominee along with Joe Biden. Man, such a great day for HBCUs, Black Greeks.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's definitely a historic day. I am not surprised by the pick. Being from Atlanta, living here in Atlanta, we had 2 of the potential 11 finalists were Atlanta women. Stacey Abrams, who's a former gubernatorial candidate, and our Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, who I think out of all the people, aside from Kamala Harris, she was the big winner out of all this because she really just kind of rose up out of nowhere, almost out of nowhere. And if you ask a lot of people here in Atlanta 5 years ago whether or not she would be a vice presidential candidate, more or less the mayor of Atlanta, they would have said you were crazy. But she was that close to becoming, that candidate. So the Kamala Harris situation is, that's obviously at the top of everyone's newscast today. It's at the top of the newspaper today. I have a big meeting tomorrow about how I'm going to cover the race and what stories I'm going to be doing over the next 2 or 3 months. So it's pretty exciting. And it's, I think she sets a fire underneath the Democratic Party right now. She, exciting, like you said, the Black Greek organizations. She's exciting the HBCU organization. And more importantly, I think her decision, she probably wasn't my first choice. Obviously, my first choice is Keisha, but I knew Keisha was a long shot because she's the mayor of the city of Atlanta. I thought that Susan Rice would have been very good because of her foreign policy and, the things of that. But Susan Rice has never run for an office before. But but Kamala was right up there for me. But seeing the response that she got yesterday, the response that she's gotten today, she was obviously 100% the best pick. And I think that the Democratic Party is going to, obviously they're going to have a really, really nice couple of days, getting her out there, rolling her out there. But I think the Democratic Party set themselves up nicely for November by picking her.
I have a question for you regarding how we consume media. I'm actually looking at journalism school, and some of my thoughts are how media shape how we identify, thereby how we make decisions. What are your thoughts on that as we go into the new election?
Well, I mean, I think I think it's good and it's bad. We have to be very careful. A lot of people confuse, a lot of athletes, a lot of, entertainers confuse social media with media. And they're 2 different animals. They run on 2 different tracks. And if you get consumed too much with social media, you're going to miss out on a lot of things because you're not going to get the whole story. So social media is a good conduit to get you news. A lot of stuff that I see on social media. I see on Twitter or Facebook, a link to a New York Times story or a link to an Atlantic story or a link to something on CNN or ABC News. You got to kind of use social media as that gateway to get you into real news. And you got to read the stories. You can't read headlines. You can't read, what someone says. I get so much stuff as a journalist. I get so much, like today, for example, I tweeted out a story that we did about Kamala Harris. We have a young Black reporter at the paper whose father is from India and whose mother is Black. So she wrote a column about how growing up and being awkward growing up and never having role models who looked like her. So she wrote a column about that. And I tweeted it out. And some guy tweets me back saying that, am I going to write a story about how Kamala's ancestors in either India or Jamaica owned slaves? And this is just another example of a conspiracy theory of unproven stuff that you get from QAnon or wherever that becomes this big story in your mind, in their minds. And they think this is really happening. Yeah. And I sent them a note back. I said, well, if you want me to write a story about Kamala's parents, her ancestors owning slaves, every Black person in America, his ancestors were slaveholders because of the way of how our blood has been mixed, throughout the slave process, throughout the enslavement process. So, you get so much stuff that goes on social media that you got to be careful as to how to filter things out and to kind of figure out what's right, what's wrong and what's true and what's not true.
How did NCCU find you?
NCCU found me because of a woman named Nancy Rowland. To be totally honest,
legend.
I'm sure that everyone, from the 70s through the 90s have stories about Nancy Rowland. But, I was the first person in my family to go to college, and we weren't very adept as to how to get into college. I always knew I wanted to go to college. My high school guidance counselor was not very helpful in the process. So I grew up in a town called Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And for those of you from Rocky Mount, we had a place called the OIC, which was the occupational, I forgot the name of it. It was an old black high school that became this place where African Americans can go to get services and things of that nature. It's called the OIC. So there's a man at the OIC named Mr. Gillum who helped black kids fill out their financial aid papers. So you would get your financial aid papers. If you didn't know how to do it, if your guidance counselor wasn't going to help you, you would go to Mr. Gillum. He would help you. That was his job. That was part of one of his jobs. So I go to him, and I've already applied to, and I hate to say this on the NCCU channel, but I had already applied and gotten accepted into North Carolina A&T.
Oh, boy.
So I go to Mr. Gillum. and this is another, this is for those of you who are listening, understanding, and this is a conversation I had with Mr. Gillum. I didn't really know why I was going to North Carolina A&T. We had a lot of people from my high school who were going, a lot of people who had already gone. I had applied there and I got accepted. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to A&T and major in English literature. And I talked to Mr. Gillum, and he asked me, why did I want to go to A&T? And I did not give him a reason that was satisfactory to him. And everything that I was telling him was counter of what an A&T education would give me, if that makes sense. Indeed. So he gets on the phone. Literally, I'm sitting there at 17 years old in his office. He gets on the phone and calls Nancy Rowland, and he reads off my application. He tells her what my SAT score is, and she says, send them. She says, send them on. And I'm listening to this, these two adults kind of chart my life. She said, send them on, and he says, you just got accepted into North Carolina Central University. That's where you're going to go. Gosh. And just like that, I was like, okay. And it was the best decision anyone's ever made for me. And I never looked back. Central. And it's funny because August 18th, 1985, that was freshman orientation day, or that was the day that freshmen were to report to campus. That was literally my first time being on campus. I'd never even been there before. So, and I never looked back. It was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
NCCU legend, graduate, 1990, Ernie Suggs. Thank you so much for being on. Please stand by. I want to bring in someone else, but if you can stand by, I want to bring you back in a little bit later on the show. Thank you for being here. Grateful for your contribution. All right.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Wow. Come on. All right, guys. An amazing alumni. I'm so grateful to be able to have conversations like this with professionals all over the world who are doing big stuff. You should be excited. The value of our degree is elevating as we speak, knowing this. Let's bring in one of my classmates from the Ammons era. Let's see, Unica. All right, Unica, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Come on, class of 05.
I know. Come on.
I didn't get to brief myself on everything that you're doing. Where are you now?
I'm living in Cary, North Carolina right now.
Come on, Cary. Come on. Family and Consumer Sciences. What are you up to these days?
I'm working in mental health right now. I've been there since graduating. I went back into the nursing field, but I work with bipolar and schizophrenic adults in the Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill area. So I work with those pretty intense people, but I enjoy doing it.
Incredible work. Talk to me about bipolar and schizophrenia. I mean, clearly, many people like myself, I know lots of people who have that top story, Kanye West.
Right.
And I don't even know if that's his true diagnosis. I'm not sure. I know he said that it's his superpower. I'm like, okay, all right, superhero. What are some things that you would tell people who may have people in their lives that are schizophrenic or have bipolar? How do we interact? What do we do?
I would say read up on it, learn as much as you can about it so you can know how to deal with those family members. Some days they'll be up, some days they're down. Just pretty much trying to figure out how to meet them where they are, not to be too pushy, but still support them. Definitely get them to see a doctor, see a psychiatrist, get them some type of medication that works for them. It's hard to treat most oftentimes, but it's possible. I know a lot of people that maintain 9 to 5s, with bipolar and schizophrenia, and I love those success stories. And unfortunately, we do have those family members that don't understand it, and they just want to say, "Oh, you're crazy, you're doing this on purpose." And they're just not really understanding the diagnosis and the seriousness behind it most oftentimes. But just to get them to read up on it, study, go with them to doctor's appointments, talk to them, check on them, see where the background came from, any past trauma. Just try to pry a little bit as much as they can, because sometimes they're very, to themselves for the most part, but just trying to get to understand them and meet them where they are and not be judgmental. That's really, really big.
Thank you for that. No judgment. I really hear unconditional love in there. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
How did you find yourself in this kind of career, coming from the sloping hills and verdant green of NCCU?
Well, my mom's home, my parents' home, they always had like the safe haven. So with 6 brothers and friends, always having like, oh, my mom's getting on my nerves, or they having these issues. So it's always been a safe haven. I always listen to people. I love trying to help people figure out what's going on with them. And before I graduated, my kids' grandparents, they had a mental health agency. So I started working with them, doing a little peer work. And I just got pulled into it. I loved it. I started working with children first. And I just been here ever since. I love mental health. I love the way the mind works, the emotions, how one thing can trigger another, trying to get an understanding on that. And as well for myself, it helps me to understand when I'm like, okay, I've had enough. So it's definitely a very interesting field of study. So I do love it. I love it.
I was talking to Brother Suggs about Kamala Harris being one of the nominee for VP from a HBCU, from a sorority, Black sorority.
Right.
What do you think?
Honestly, I love it. I do. I love it. I love the fact that Joe stepped out of the box. I know he had a lot of, he may have had, I don't know for a fact, but he may have had a lot of birds in his ear trying to get him to choose one way or another. But I really think that when I'm going to speak that into existence, that she'll do a great job as VP. Very, very, very point on, and she's good for the job. So definitely support.
When people talk about HBCU, sometimes they're skeptical about the ability of the school to train students from those campuses. What are your thoughts, and what do you say to those individuals who may be skeptical of the quality of education from HBCU?
I tell them to read the history, go back and see who have graduated from HBCUs or even attended an HBCU, may not have been completely successful for whatever reason. They will probably be surprised at the people that they admire have attended an HBCU. I'm sorry, my son just crawled back.
No worries. What up, Eagle?
He just crawled under the table. I'm sorry.
Tell him that's what Aggies do. Tell him to get up and fly, okay?
Right. He said, get up and fly. You don't got to crawl back. Yeah. But I'll tell you, do your research. I definitely loved every day at NCCU. That was one of the best decisions that I've made. Definitely. And I will tell anybody, just try it and check it out. Go on to campus and get a feel of the family. Homecoming is probably the best time to check out HBCU to see the camaraderie and the family and the love that you get on the at least at Central. I don't know about nobody else's. However, but yeah, just try.
Well, Unica, I'm going to have to tap you to lead our Cary delegation of our virtual homecoming this year.
Okay.
Make sure that you get you a mask with a little slit for a drink and all of that.
Please. Okay.
Make sure Cary is lit. All right, Unica Harmon from the class of 05. North Carolina Central University. Thank you for being on. If you want to stick around, we got a couple more minutes. Want to stick around here from our future doctor scientist, Michael is coming on next. So hold tight, hang on tight. Come on, Unica. Thank you for being here.
All right, Eagle Pride.
Amplify worldwide.
I'll say.
All right, that was Unica. That was one of my classmates. We were on a yard together during our time there. Now I know. We're going to wrap it up with one of the elite Eagles of our university, former student body president, and he'll tell you more about what he's studying. But, you always want to be around smart people, okay? And so we got to get this cat in here. Dr. Hopkins.
Everybody. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good, can't complain.
Man, it's been a long time. How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, just in quarantine like everybody else,
Well,
but pretty good on
I'm
my
doing
end.
I'm doing this in quarantine. What are you doing in quarantine?
So I recently went back to work. So less quarantining and more getting back into the grind of working. So I'm in grad school, get my PhD, and I'm not allowed to go back to the lab, do more experiments. I'm a scientist, so that's what I've been up to in the last month or so. But before that, sleeping, eating like everybody else.
Well, hopefully not a lot because I lost 20 pounds. So I hope you're not gaining the quarantine 20.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to North Carolina Central University, student body president. What was one of the biggest issues that you had while you were at NCCU as a leader?
Let me see. I would say at the time I was at NCCU was before a lot of the major construction that's currently going on. And I think one of our biggest issues was housing at the time. Housing and dining were definitely probably our two primary concerns at the time. There weren't enough dorms for the incoming students, and Central has been continuing to grow and grow, and so we were finding that the campus was too small for our student body. And then the dining, we wanted better food.
Indeed. And so now after NCCU, you went where? Where are you studying in grad school?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so after I graduated from NCCU, I enrolled at Johns Hopkins, and I'm getting my PhD in biochemistry.
I don't know what that means. What will you be doing with that PhD, sir?
Okay, yeah, I want to be a professor. I want to teach at HBCU one day, give back, really, and be a scientist, be a teacher.
Yeah, what's the biggest misconception in your industry when it comes to Black people? I've seen some research where the sciences were not as strong, and I have my own thoughts on the systemic effects of more Black and brown people being in sciences. What would you say to those students who are considering the sciences?
I would say that if you look throughout Black history, we were really some of the pioneers in contemporary and going back even further, like ancient Egyptian civilizations were known for their science and their intellect, and the ability to understand the natural world. So it's actually in our nature to really be scientists. We've always been scientists, and so current day you don't see as many Black scientists, but I think it's really something that's heavily ingrained in us, and I think that we definitely are fully capable of being amazing scientists. It's more about access than it is ability, in my opinion.
I lost my there we go. Thank you for that. Good doctor. Well, how did NCCU find you?
How did NCCU find me? Yeah. All of my siblings went to HBCUs, and I was the youngest. I'm originally from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I knew that I also wanted to go to an HBCU. And so, when I started to look, my brother went to NCCU as well. He's the class of 2011.
Okay.
And so once I knew that he went to NCCU and I saw, I was exposed to the campus in that way, I was really I realized Central could be home for me too. And so it was in my family line and it was in my bloodline. So.
Excellent. Dr. Michael Hopkins, future Dr. Michael Hopkins. I'm going to bring in, thank you so much for being here. Hang tight. I want to bring in some of our other folks. We've got Brother Ernie Suggs from the class of 90. Mm-hmm. And we've also got Unica Harmon from the class of 2005. Thank y'all for being on today. I just want to bring y'all all in just so that we can kind of see this, because this is history in the making, or this is a historic moment to have 18, he's 18 there, and then there's there you go, 90, and then Harmon is 05. What do you guys have to say about NCCU as it grows and as it gets bigger and better? I'll start with Brother Suggs.
Well, I mean, it was interesting hearing Brother Hopkins talk about housing and food. Going there in the 1980s, it was a whole different situation. If you didn't get to the cafeteria by 5:55, 6 o'clock, you were out until 8 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know what it was in 18 and 05. But it's just amazing just to kind of see how the university has grown so much, and just to look at the photographs on Facebook and to get all the correspondence about all the buildings that are going on. And it was amazing because it was I love Central, and I'm always there. And whenever I go home, I drive by, and someone sent photographs, and I didn't recognize the place. It was just like, where is this?
Right.
And I couldn't even picture in my mind where this photograph was taken because it was so new and it's growing so much. So I just love Central. I'm always talking about Central. You see, I have the big banner of the shield behind me. You know, whenever I can get a chance to talk about Central, I'm doing it, and I love it.
Right.
You know.
And thank you for leading your group. You know, you went to NCCU. If thank you so much for doing that. I hope that we can collaborate. So
Yeah.
that,
I want to talk to you about that. Yeah.
yeah, please. Unica, what do you think about NCCU growing? What are your thoughts?
Oh man, it's amazing. It is amazing. The first time I went back for Chicken Wednesday was homecoming. I want to say 3 years ago. And when I stepped in the caf, I was like, wait a minute. However, we still had the cafeteria lady, the one taking the cards and the payments. She still is. It was amazing. I love the growth. It definitely warms my heart every time I step on the yard, and it is phenomenal. It definitely is. Those verdant greens are still there. The sloping hills are there. So it's amazing. I love the yard. The campus is amazing, and the growth, the younger generation, I would say, Generation X or Z, whichever one they are, amazing. They have a lot of school spirit. They love their NCCU as well, which is very, very heartwarming. I love it.
Amazing. I'll end it with you, future Dr. Michael. What do you think?
Future doctor. Yeah.
It's amazing just to see NCCU continue to grow and to really have been a part of that growth. And I'm excited to see, you know, what NCCU is going to look like for the next generation of Eagles. So it's only going to continue to get better and better. And it already, like the new dorms, the new union that's coming. It's just, I'm excited back.
It's getting crazy.
It is.
Get better. It's only going to get better. Let me pull it. I don't know if I can bring in. Let me see if I can bring in. I think I can get Bass in there. Bass, are you there? Bass, are you in there? All right, we can't hear you.
I'm here.
Okay, there you go. All right.
I had to turn my mic on. I'm sorry.
We're bringing you in to close us out. We're so grateful to have all these folks on here. What do we need to know to take us out, brother?
I will just sit there and say, just if everybody with all these generations that we got going on right now, let's stay connected, be connected. Let's tag somebody. Let's get more people involved. Create engagement of what we're trying to do, of highlighting all these. I'm just seeing this right here. I'm smiling like, wow. You got 80. I mean, you got 90.
90.
You got 05,
Not 80.
You got 18. And just to see all these, that's 3 different generations at a sense, you know?
Yeah.
So just to see this, just always sitting and say, let's try to get more people engaged in Eagle Pride Amplify worldwide.
All right, guys, remember that we need you to join the NCCU Alumni Association. Go to nccualumni.org. And also you can make a recurring gift to the university by visiting eaglesgive.com. And also, if you still got your old address on file, go to updatecontact.info and update your contact info today. My name is Keon Brown. I'm here in New York. This is NCCU Live. An eagle is no common, ordinary barnyard fowl. Yes. Have a good one, guys. Take care.
All right. Take
care,
y'all.
Pride.
Peace. Yeah.